and see what really happens. The first standoff was launched 5 years ago during positive hard days, and we've tried to develop it and improve it. But at a certain moment of time, we came to understanding that by the efforts of one team and by the efforts of positive technologies, it's impossible to make the city close to reality. We need a lot of hardware, we need a lot of software, and that's why we've made Standoff right now as an independent project where we have partners that were verbalized. We invite all the partners, all the software developers, vendors, clients to come to our platform. First of all, to test our solutions for reliability, resistance, see which attacks software and hardware is vulnerable, to learn on practical experience, and by this do our products more reliable, more stable before launching them in so-called real world, real life. Also, Standoff is an interesting platform for experts, for red team and blue team, which in total amount we have more than 200 experts who participate today in a Standoff all these 6 days, because for them it's an interesting objective. It's a maximum approximation to the real world and an opportunity to learn some things which they will not be able to see too often in their professional career, even though they are employees of Security Operations Center or integrator. And as I've told you, many partners help us to do what you see on your screens. And one of these partners is MONT, largest distributor in Russian Federation. Colleagues, hello. Good evening. Good evening. Hi. We have Dubin and Andrey, the head of Business Development Department in IT Security. Andrey, hello. Hello. Elvira Rakhmatullina, Product Manager in Positive Technologies Products. Good evening. Good evening. And Alexander Paramonov, the expert in business development. Good evening, dear colleagues. How do you like everything that happens here? Did you see anything similar? What are your emotions, impressions, and thoughts? Being participant and observant of this cyber battle. I really liked it because I've been communicating in our room with experts of positive technologies. And those questions we've been discussing with the audience, the questions that we received from the audience, they were extremely interesting. Of course, we've never seen such digital footprint. When some physical company is being broken, it's not noticeable, but when you see the digital twin of the company and when you see how the attack is happening right now, you see which industries were able to resist, and it makes your heart beating much faster. Andrey, you have such a serious face. And maybe you have some critical thoughts about Standoff. Can you share them with us? What do you think about online platform and cyber battle? I'm not so serious, it just camera gives a certain delay. I'm smiling now. But I really liked the event. Like Alexander said, there's a certain digital footprint by which you can see the sequence of actions. This is very obvious, very interesting, and in principle, I can even make any analogy in this world of similar events, because I never participated in an event like this myself. So, give you the A. Thank you for your assessment. You have your own online room, right? Tell me, please, what was happening in your online room, your online account? Well, let me begin. Today we have conducted several interesting presentations for our clients and partners. First of all, it was related to how we see the market today. We've been speaking about three key aspects and attention focused for specialists of information security. It's a protection of clouds, protection, the growth, big growth of solutions and DevOps solutions. But on the other side, we've been looking at the situation, analyzing network activity called fluid IT, when IT is been breaking all its boxes, gets outside of the company. And the defense is needed by the investors and regulatory authorities that work with us, not only for the company employees. The third part was related to protecting the endpoints, working stations, IoT, distributed flows, which have to be defended. And from this point of view, as a company, we provide a full spectrum of solutions, more than 250 manufacturers, and it was nice that Positive Technologies is one of our favorite key players, and this is Russian representative. It's the separate thanks to you that we can be proud of such partnership. After this, we had several interesting presentations related with how Positive Technologies defend with its solutions real companies, creates interesting dynamic solutions in sandbox format, helps to see all the traffic inside of the company and possibly outside of its perimeter. And number three, it's the full spectrum of solutions which can help to dramatically speed up the process of discovery and reduce the attack possibility inside of the network of the company. So these three aspects we've tried to solve today, and we actively been communicating with the audience. So thank you very much. It's a wonderful platform. And what about your experience here? Because you see, we've been speaking to German Holmov, our digital marketing director, and in a month and a half, with his own hands, from the scratch, he developed all this platform. We've launched it during the first day, last Thursday, just before the stream. And this situation made us to be nervous a little bit, whether we're going to be able or not, but we were able to launch it. In the course of the day and afterwards, with time, we've been finding different bugs, we've been making the platform more stable, we've been correcting the content, and right now it finally came to a certain level of stability, more or less, with the functionality that we've been defining for it. So what about your experience? How was this functionality interesting to you? Which of these you've been using, and what of this you would like to use in the future? Things that you're missing today. Andrey, maybe you're going to be the first one, or Alexander, you want to continue something else? I think I need to give floor to Andrey, because I've been heading the process of our private room. Yes. Alexander today was the main speaker in the course of all our sessions. So we need to give him a little rest. Oh, I understand him. Honestly, we really liked the platform. Everything worked perfectly. No technical hiccups did happen. Yes, we've been testing it yesterday in order to be convinced that everything works right. But the platform works very well, and I would like to tell you that in the course of this self-isolation, I've been participating in several events where they've had such remote video conferences, and practically always they've had some significant technical problems. Right now we didn't have any of those. Surprisingly, I thought that this is wrong, that is wrong, this is not right, because this is absolutely fresh product, a better version. Wonderful, it's good that you've liked it. Did you look like chats? Did you use them? Yes, we've used the chat. I hope that chat will be recorded and we will be able to analyze the communications. It's a very useful function, and technically speaking, maybe it's good that we've started you didn't start to invent some super duper tools, because very often you need to find a balance between the efficiency and reliability of the platform and tools represented on it. So I think the balance was perfect. We were not overloaded with something supernatural in this platform. That's why there were no problems here. Elvira, I'm going to have a question to you. As a manager responsible for positive products, this is to your karma, this is to your collection of some points. Did you have any additional points from the point of view of understanding of positive products, possibility of selling them? Did you get something from it? Of course. First of all, experience of participation in such an event gives you a possibility to work with unlimited number of partners. I really like the fact that there's a wide geography of participants and possibility to work with global markets. It's a great advantage. And yes, we've been telling more about products that we are working with, that we have in the portfolio. So I will have a question to you, as a distributor who has a lot of solutions in the portfolio. The request is related with the time that we live in this year. Has your picture of the most popular solutions changed? Maybe some solutions were popular and right now they are not popular at all. In other words, the picture of demand, the picture of needs of the market in your direction, has it changed in the recent 6 months? Demand for solutions is changing constantly, and the current situation that's happening in the world made people look differently on the approach to organize the information security and stability. That's why this transfer to online have pushed many companies to begin with basics in the area of information security and to buy basic solutions. Andrey, maybe you will add something to this. Maybe we'll call some product solutions which are not in demand anymore, or maybe those which have grown significantly. What is your picture? Okay, I would like to tell you not even about products, but about market segments. And I would like to begin by saying what is not as positive. There is a sustainable understanding that small and medium business segments are dropping. First of all, this is related to the fact that this business suffers significantly. It's not a consequence of the fact that this business ignores information security objectives. It's just related to the fact that this is the market situation. Also, there is another situation that we see some reduction of sales in regions. In other words, our regional sales, they have not grown anywhere, including the information security segment. But if we're going to speak about our locomotive is the big enterprise. In this area, everything's all right. Information security market has grown significantly, and I would like to say that in a course of 1 year, we will see a significant growth in all our sales, both for Russian vendors and for the foreign vendors in the area of information security. And what about right now? How big is this growth? 1%, 2%, 10, 20% at a given moment of time compared to the previous year? Speaking about average, this is dozens of percent. But, speaking on average, we also take into consideration Western vendors and Russian vendors. But speaking about Russian vendors, the growth, I cannot tell you specific interest rates, but it's the significant one. So the enterprise is growing. Yes, the enterprise is growing. And first of all, the first driver is remote operations. And the driver is what? When the company, especially in the beginning of this year, was transferring almost all the employees to remote operations, during the remote operations they also transferred departments which have never worked remotely, including financial departments. So very sensitive business processes which are happening inside of those financial departments, they practically became remote. And it makes big companies to seriously review their approach to discovering the threat, because this is a very sensitive process. And the second thing, which is also a driver, is the fact that today there is a mass situation when the employees of the company use their own devices for corporate purposes. Previously, it was a managed process, and most remote devices were subject to security policy scrutiny, but right now we see that a lot of sensitive business processes being conducted from personal devices, and very often they are also used by other family members and children. So criminals know about this, and their activities have increased in this area. And these particular factors are drivers of growth of sales in corporate segment. Can you tell us in more detail about growth in the enterprise? What are those directions? Is it CM, application firewall? Which market segments, if you have information about that? Well, honestly speaking, practically everybody, and I would like to say what is not growing. The endpoint protection is not growing because, basically speaking, there are no changes in this area. No significant dramatic changes due to the transition to remote operations. All other segments, except for protection of endpoints, are growing. So the DLP segment is growing, which at a certain moment of time we thought that it has achieved its ceiling, but right now it continues to grow. Surprisingly, yes. Yes, we have noticed this, and DLP segment grows not only in Russian vendors, but also on the international level as well. Okay. As for industrial segmentation, big market share is taken by our public organizations or commercial companies where the public participation is very significant. So in the current situation, these companies are locomotive of the market drivers. Thank you. Andrey, I have a question to you. Well, speaking about the standoff as a platform, where we can show a lot of different situations of the real world, where we can talk with key people in the company, with top management of the company on the same language, because all this visualization that is available, it's very clear, it's very obvious. Either the wheel is rolling, the ferry wheel, or the petrochemical plant exhausted the gases, or the oil was spilled. What do you think, which market segments could be pushed by this standoff, be pushed for the growth, and whether they will be pushed? Well, we shouldn't speak about market segments, but about the fact that there is a good mechanism for employees of information security services, the mechanism of conveying to the top management of the company of importance of the topics of providing information security, because as we could hear during our session on multiple occasions, top management of the company does not understand very often, did they feel better after investing big financial means into their information security? Because if nothing happens, if no negative events are happening, then they have an illusion that we don't understand what have we spent money for. Why do you ask for something else from us? Well, this is the question which is faced by security officer every day. The problem is that it's difficult to approve the management, to confirm to the management to be involved in informational security provisioning. And if something will happen, some security incident, the same officer will be at fault. So this platform is a very good visualization tool. Digital company can see that it can be this way. And a final question that I have to you: what advice can you give to the information security specialists? What should they pay attention to increase the efficiency of their operations, because they also work remotely? They see what happens on the standoff. Can you give some simple advices? Well, I would like to tell you, dear colleagues, I think the first thing we should begin with, we should continue learning. Events like this is a wonderful opportunity to go to a fast expertise with your own hands. Separately, I would note that you need to know how to interrelate with not only tools of informational security, but to have a three-party communications: business, IT department, and informational security. And you have presented on your stands digital twin of every company. And today, companies that we work with, if they create digital twin, the profit growth is multiple. The multiplier is great. Why do you say that? On the basis of results of those companies who apply those digital twins. A bright example is one of the companies in Rosatom Holding, which is involved in SCADA. 4 years ago, it didn't exist. Right now, they make several $7 billion. And selling of nuclear power plants happens thanks to what is happening with the digital twin that is being presented. And only after this, the nuclear power plant is being sold. Transfer systems, the grid, and the nuclear power plant. And Rosatom has a lot of interesting information, and they have a lot of things to be proud of. And a second important thing that I paid attention to today, and unfortunately I see this thing seriously limits the market. It's impossibility to speak on the same language with the business. Security works in the format of threatening, like we are just saving your assets. We're generating, but understand me right, even if you don't have money and something happened, informational security is always at fault. So from this point of view, I would like to say that the learning aspect should be a proper financial analysis and the ability of providing results of your work, not only pulling money for your projects, not only pulling and showing which risks are in the company, but every day you should provide information which risks didn't work and which consequences you didn't have because of this. So the specialist, the head of the information security department, should be able to see those risks and understand his monetization in his own company and show real benefits from the investments into the informational technologies to those not accomplished risks. This, from my point of view, is the most important element of development. And I would like to say also development of the psychology. And second of all, preparing the reports, ability to use those daily reports which are generated by the system. And the next final topic, I would say about the automation system. Speaking about the fact that we're working in a manual mode, and there are people which have systems, they look at how the attack is happening. But please understand, today, when the guys were making the presentation, when did we have the attacks? From 1 a.m. until 8 a.m. Why the main specialists are sleeping and they're not able to cope with the problem and the attack? The average time for assembling of the attack is 200 days. 200 days attacker is inside of the perimeter of the company. And this is average statistics. maybe up to a year, until the trigger is going to work. Maybe some vulnerability of the 0-day happens, and then the count is not for the minute, but for milliseconds, because there's one command and launch. So the question of automation of reaction on this problem, I think from my point of view, this is the extreme of the information security industry. So these are those three aspects: ability to work in triplets, IT, operational production, and information security, ability to work in the language of the financial data after the systems are implemented, and ability to behave in such a way. I think these are key points on which the whole market should concentrate. Yes, I will agree with you, because in the course of all these days we're speaking about risks a lot, risks that we see in a standoff, and when hackers do achieve the final goal, a certain risk is being embodied, like the crash of the train, crash of the ferry wheel, crash of the banking system. All those risks are available, and we have invented even several new risks. They invented several new risks which are not defined in our program. And when we do see the consequences, they are very clear. And risks are also very understandable. So during all these days, we're discussing with experts who are in my studio or in the standoff contest. We see that we have to speak this language. Security people should know how to speak in this language with top management. Security vendors should also be able to talk with their clients in the same language. And only in this case, key people in the company, the owners, the CEOs will be able to make the solutions not from the point of view of, okay, let's increase it by 1.5% your information security budget, just buy another firewall or DLP. And they will be able to approach investments with thinking, because these are investments which can give you fast payback, because those things, especially speaking about business risks, can easily be measured. The volume of investments and volume of money on non-material but important assets, like valuable information, which was kept by you thanks to the fact that you have properly done the proper steps. Thank you very much for your participation. These were our partners, Dubin Andrey, Elvira Rakhmatullina, and Alexander Paramonov. I wish you a productive day tomorrow in your online room to have more clients, and so that your year would be optimistic as you just been forecasting. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues. Okay, we have planned 2 more broadcasts. We will have connection to Simon Raymond. This is our colleague from EPAM Security, Chief Information Security Officer. And then with Yulia Sorokina, we will finish the day.